Just imagine, the day that should be the happiest of my life, my own mother turned the ceremony into a battlefield. With a toast of champagne in her hand, she announced, smiling as if nothing was, "I'm getting married again, and you will leave my house today." The world turned. We canceled the honeymoon in Ialta, hired a lawyer, and, before the cake was cut, was already processing my mother for invasion of property. It sounds like a soap opera script, but it was my reality. And the worst, this all happened as I still wore the wedding dress. My name is Valeria. To the intimate, read, I'm 26 years old, and that day, sitting at the barroom with my newly official husband, I just thought, everything perfect. The dress fell like a glove. Igor, my prince in impeccable tuxedo, shone beside me. The guests danced non-stop, but happiness would last less than ice and champagne. 6 years earlier, my father died of the wheel infarction. I was 20 years old, attending the third economy period, and my life collapsed in seconds. In the will, he left me the family home in Krasnogorsk, a 40 million mansion, with huge ground, forest next to and only half an hour from Moscow, a heritage that my grandfather built. My father inherited and now was mine by right, but along with the house, I inherited a mother who never worked a day in her life. My father spoiled her, paid all the bills, solved every detail, and suddenly, I had to hold the ends, mortgage studies, get a job, play home expenses, accounts, food in her. My mother had lived in that house for almost 30 years. He arrived there newly married, reformed every corner, chose every furniture, raised my son me among those walls. There was only one problem. The document was in my name. After my father passed away, I spent 6 years carrying this burden alone, while she lived like a queen in a castle that wasn't hers. In recent months, Igor and I have rented an apartment to prepare for the wedding, combining that, after the ceremony, we would move to my house. After all, space was not lacking for three. Igor is one of those rare men, unconditional support, amazing family, sensible parents, without frills, and a sister, Anya, who is a Telegram channel full of life tips and recipes. Everything looked like a fairy tale, even the fateful gift. The hall was effervescent, laughs, music, dishes that did justice to the dream buffet. My mother got up elegantly with a dress that cost more than the salary of many of the guests. "I want to congratulate my beloved daughter," he began, with a smile that illuminated the atmosphere. "You and Igor are perfect for each other. I'm so happy for you." My heart was filled with pride until she released the bomb. But today I also want to share news. I found love again. Roman and I got married in a month. The hall exploded in applause. I smile, genuinely happy for her, until she continues, with the same sweet voice and the brightness in the eyes that gives me the goosebumps. "Today, Reed, the best gift we can give ourselves is space. You need your life. I need mine. So I decided that it's fair for you to donate the house." The silence that followed was so dense that you can hear a needle fall. Even the music stopped. All eyes turned to me, as if I were the villain of the story. I got up, my leg shaking. "This is absurd," he said, with a firmness he didn't feel. "The house is mine. My father left me on the will. How right do you have about her?" My mother didn't flash. He turned to the guests, as a teacher explaining something obvious to children. "Technically, yes, the role has been in her name, but I have lived here 30 years. I renovated, mobile, raised my daughter in these rooms. The fair is me to keep the house." His sister, Aunt Tamara, clapped her hands. The rest of the hall, pure shock. There was no dialogue. My mother shouted that I was selfish, that none the most would play in his house, and left knocking on the door. The party that should be unforgettable became a nightmare. Igor's parents ran. Your mother hugged me. "This will pass, honey." His father shook his head. Your mother exaggerated ugly. Anya, of course, recorded everything on her cell phone. I took it until the end of the night, smiling as if nothing had happened. But inside, I boiled. How did she dare? In my wedding, the next morning I woke up to our kitchen rented with a cracking headache. Igor was already awake, running his hand on my back. "How are you?" he asked, as if a truck had passed over me. I said, "But I won't give up. This house is mine, and I will fight to the end." He just squeezed my hand. "I'm with you. Let's win that." We went to the house, my house, and there it was, new padlock shining in the sun. I knocked on the door. "Mom, open. Let's talk." His voice on the other side was icy. "Your things are in the garage. Take and disappear." "This is crazy. Open this door." I shouted. "We have nothing to talk about. This house is mine now." The hatred burned inside me. Igor held me by the shoulders. "Let's get your things and leave. We resolved later." In the garage, there were only a few boxes left. Photo albums, books, memories. The essential was already in the apartment. We carried everything in the car and left. At night, Igor's mother called. How are you? She'd exchanged the padlocks. He doesn't even want to dialogue, I said. Without hesitation, she offered, come live with us. We have plenty of space. And I've already arranged a lawyer for you, Andrei Petrikov. He specializes in real estate disputes and will help recover what is owned. I cried with gratitude. At least someone in my life still had judgment. In the next few weeks, we moved to the in-laws, embarrassing but necessary. They welcomed us with open arms. Stay as long as they need. What else hurt? Have to cancel the honeymoon. I changed the beaches of Ialta for piles of lawsuits and meetings with lawyers. 3 weeks after the marriage, instead of lying in the sand with a mojito in my hand, I was sitting in an office room, listening to Petrikov to analyze my documents. He was one of those professionals who convey confidence just entering the room. Gray hair, firm voice, eyes that have seen everything. Your case is simple, he said after flipping through the papers. The house is yours by right. It has a will, a certificate of inheritance. Your mother has no legal right about her. We will start with an extrajudicial notification so that she will vacate the property. If we do not advance, we enter with action. I swallowed. Notification. Sound aggressive. He nodded. With family, it's always difficult. But sometimes the law is the only language they understand. And I knew, this time, I wouldn't back down. That house was mine, and I would have it back at cost what it cost. Petrikov was right. Now my mother was just an illegal occupant in my own property. The law was by my side. 30 days to go out voluntarily. Then the lawsuit. He wrote the document with surgical precision, and I took him to the house myself. I slid the envelope by mail, registered, with acknowledgement of receipt. I doubled by email. The bitter taste in the mouth was almost physical, but there was no alternative. A few days later, Petrikov's phone broke the silence. Your mother hired a lawyer, Sergei Vinogradov. I know him well. He has already contacted. They are willing to take this to the courts. My stomach plummeted. It was serious. My mother was ready to sue me for what was my right. What do we do? I asked, the voice failing. We built an unbreakable case. Bank statements proving that all payments depart from your account. Egg and inheritance certificate. Everything that proves your property. The following week was a hunt for documents. And, to my surprise, proving my reason was easier than I imagined. I know years since my father's death, every penny of accounts, light, water, property tax, internet I got out of my pocket. My mother had not contributed to a single rubles. I even found my grandfather's old papers. The house had been built by him, passed to my father, and, I will, to me. A clear line. Grandfather, father, daughter. She didn't appear anywhere. Excellent, approved Petrikov, flipping through the papers. Your position is armored. Her lawyer has nowhere to escape. 2 weeks later, new phone call. Vinogradov offered an agreement. My mother wanted half of the house. Let's divide. You get one part, me with another. Don't even think. I cut dry. The house is mine. She can live here as guest, if she wants, but half of the property worth 40 million. Not even in a dream. As I imagined, he laughed. I will convey your refusal. A month passed. New meeting. This time, Vinogradov threw his letter on the table. My client recently married. The husband has moved to the house. They are willing to sell it and share the value with you. I'd almost fell off the chair. Now, besides wanting to steal my property, she planned to sell it and get half the money. Only on my corpse, I said between my teeth. The house is not for sale. The stress came in waves. I should be enjoying my honeymoon, but instead I was drowned in a judicial battle against my own mother. Igor remained firm, but I saw the weight of it in his eyes. The next morning my phone exploded. My mother had posted on VK, my daughter expels me from home. It's so unfair. I lived here all my life. It's not right to throw meat on the street. Friends, help her to see the cruelty of what she is doing. Maybe, if many talk, she changes her mind. The anger boiled. Public blackmail. But when I opened the comments, I was gaping. Lyudia, you go crazy? Wrote an old friend. You are trying to steal your daughter's inheritance. I don't believe you set a scandal in your daughter's marriage. Added another. So I saw the comment of Anya, sister of Igor. She had posted the full video of my wedding speech, captioning, here's what really happened, and Reed and Igor judge for themselves who is wrong. From there, the comments turned against my mother. One after another, people accused her of trying to steal my inheritance and ruin my day. The video went viral. At dusk, she deleted the profile. For a moment, I felt sorry. Being lynched on the internet is not easy, but she had dug her own pit. Meanwhile, the 30 days of voluntary deadline were ending. Igor and I went through the neighborhood a few times to see if she showed signs of exit. What we have seen left us paralyzed. My mother and Roman were overriding the facade. My immaculate white was now an acid yellow, a color I hated. But the worst, Roman had knocked down the garage. That garage, which my father had built with his own hands when I was a child. They are destroying my property. I shouted on the phone to Petrikov. Is this allowed? Of course not. He replied firmly. Duly damaged the property of others. Article 167 of the Penal Code. Record everything in photos. Call an expert and make a police report. Experts arrived and evaluated the damage. 500,000 rubles. Demolited garage. Unauthorized painting. Ruined landscaping. On the same day, I filed a complaint with the police. When the deadline expired and she still refused to leave, Petrikov filed the action. The judge confirmed my rights and ordered the eviction, giving another 30 days to comply. 2 months in total, first to go out for good. Then by law. When this deadline was also sold out, I went to the house with Petrikov, Igor, and Nanya, who insisted on following to document everything for the channel. I hesitated, but Igor agreed. Visual evidence is never too much. As expected, they did not open the door. We had to call police and bailiffs. Only then did my mother appear, disheveled, her eyes swollen. For a second, I felt a tightness on my chest. Reed, don't do that. He wimped. Let's get something. You had 30 days to tidy up. I said cold. Time is over. I started to pack your things in plastic bags. I have carried them out. Anya filmed everything live, commenting, guys, this is to hurt. Thousands of people watching. Likes don't stop coming. My mother clung to the doorjos. Then she took her hand to her chest. I feel bad. You're killing me. Reed, call an ambulance. I rolled my eyes, but showed 103. The paramedics arrived, measured the pressure slightly high, but nothing alarming. Classical manipulation. One of them whispered. We see this all the time in family conflicts. Annie was still engaging. Guys, this is pure drama. Reed's mother pretends a heart attack not to leave home. Better than any reality show. I just wanted it to end. Finally, they called the van. The porters began to take the belongings. Before leaving, my mother stopped in front of me, her face containing face. Are you going to regret it, Valeria? The words hurt more than I expected. After all she had done, hear that, for her. I no longer existed when they left. He hugged me. How are you? I'll survive. I sighed. Let's process them for damage. Forget. He shook his head. We'll build a new garage. Better. It's not worth spending energy on it. That night we returned to my house. Strange being there without her after so many years. The empty rooms looked foreigners without their furniture, without their scattered objects, but the silence was mine. I blocked your number, deleted it from all networks, filmed your emails. He'd arrives. After what she did, she no longer wanted to see her or hear her voice. 2 weeks later, my Aunt Tamar called. Reed, how are you not ashamed? Your mother now lives in favor, can barely support yourself. And takes. I said, calm down. Who should be ashamed is her, trying to steal her daughter's house. I hung up. There was nothing more to say. And you still have the wooden face to support me. Do not call more. I hung up. Block number. Most relatives, knowing the whole story, stayed by my side. Even some relatives of her admitted that she had exaggerated. But I no longer cared about who was on which side. I just wanted to move on. 2 years passed. Igor and I turned the house to our taste. We renovated the kitchen. We built the new garage it had promised. We planted a garden. Life was settling until I found out I was pregnant. We had been trying 6 months ago, and when the 2 lines appeared in the test, I cried with happiness. Igor took me on his lap and turned me around the room. We laughed and cried at the same time. Let's be parents, he repeated incredulously. We called the same time for his parents. Your mother cried on the phone. I'll be a grandmother. I don't believe it. Your father also vibrated. At night they arrived with champagne for Igor and grape juice for me. We celebrate the news in our renewed cuisine. How lucky for the baby to grow in such a beautiful house, said my mother-in-law, admiring the changes. And it was no less. In 2 years, we did everything with whim. We overlooked all the rooms, changed the hydraulics, renovated the kitchen from end to end. White cabinets, synthetic stone benches. Igor built a garage twice as older than the old one, with space for both cars, and still left a warehouse. In place of my mother's rose trees, there were now beds with a greenhouse. When it was in the 3rd month, something unexpected happened. One morning, as I checked the emails, I came across a message from an unknown address. I opened it, and the blood froze. My dear Reed, I hope it is well. I was open for common acquaintances that you and Igor wait for your first child. Congratulations from the bottom of your heart. What a wonderful news! My mother somehow had discovered the pregnancy. Created a new email. I think it's time for us to leave the hurts of the past. At the time, emotions spoke louder. But now you will be a mother. You will understand how important the family is. My stomach rolled. 2 years of silence, curses, and now she wanted a reconciliation just because I was pregnant. I will be a grandmother. This is all that matters. I want to help raise the baby, be present. I have so much love, so much experience to share. Let's start from scratch. We are family. The letter was still for more paragraphs, speaking of lessons learned, how I miss me, how I thought about me every day. He even mentioned that he had ended with Roman without giving details. I know I hurt you. Forgive me, but that the joy of the baby joins us. Give your mother one more chance. I promise everything will be different. I love you, daughter. Don't deprive me of my grandson. I stared at the screen, the anger mixing with sadness. A tiny part of me whispered, did she really change? But then I remembered everything, the scandal and marriage, the attempt to steal the house, the processes, the defamations on the networks, my father's warehouse, the attack pretended, her last words. For me, you are dead. Igor found me crying in front of the computer. What happened? I showed the email. He read, and with each paragraph his jaw squeezed more. What are you going to do? He asked, after finishing. I know what I should do, but a part of me thinks is it a chance to fix things. After all, she will be a grandmother. Igor sat next to me and held my hands. My love, I support any decision of yours. But remember, for everything she made us go, the scandal and marriage, the attempt to steal her inheritance, her father's warehouse. Do you think a baby will change that? He was right. It was not for my son. My mother wanted to go back because a grandson would be a new pressure instrument. It would begin to dictate how to raise the child, to demand visits to the house he tried to take. What if something didn't please? Perhaps even threatening the guardianship council. Notice, Igor continued, not even a concrete apology, only vague phrases. We both talk too much. Silly, she took nothing. It was true. And still mentioned Roman by passage. I bet her marriage is over. Now it's alone and wants to cling to someone. The more I thought, the clearer it was. My mother had not changed. I was just using my pregnancy as an excuse to return. And then, more manipulations, more dramas. So I imagined my son. Did you want him to grow alongside a toxic person like her? See your scene. Hear bad things about me and Igor. No, I decided. She made her choice 2 years ago when she said I had died for her. That remained, so I deleted the email without responding, blocked the new address, set up a filter to automatically delete any similar message. In the following months, she tried a few more times. He sent a card, which I threw it out without opening. He called different numbers, which I ignored. A cousin told me that he even wrote on Telegram, asking me to pass a message. She blocked her without hesitation. Now I'm in the 7th month. Igor and I got the baby's room painted in a soft light green. Over the weekend, Igor set up the crib, bought tiny outfits and toys. Sometimes I think if I'm going to regret not having given her another chance. But just remember everything she has done, and the doubts disappear. I did the right thing. My son will grow in a house full of love and peace, surrounded by people who really love him. Igor's parents were already preparing to be grandparents. My mother-in-law knitted so many blankets that she would take the whole hospital, and my father-in-law made a rocking horse of wood. Our baby will have real grandmother's love, no manipulation. No toxicity. 2 months after those nights when we were preparing for the arrival of our son, the big day arrived. Our boy was born. The delivery was fast, although I was afraid who would not, with life about to change forever. But when they put that hot little being on my chest, all the fear dissolved. I looked at his tiny little fingers, the nose, and couldn't believe it. It was our son, our new life. Igor hugged us, and his eyes shone. Thank you, he whispered. You gave me a whole world. We call him Artem. In the early weeks, the house filled with a new sound, the soft breath and the baby's sharp cry, along with a special silence, the one that only happiness brings. My mother-in-law came almost every day, helped in the bath, featured homemade pies. My father-in-law proudly shook the rocking horse that ended just in time for our return of maternity. They have become our true support, the way a family should be. Sometimes, with Artem in my arms, I would catch me thinking about my mother. I would like things to have been different, that it might be present not only in blood, but in heart. But I knew I had made the right choice for my son, for quiet childhood, without manipulation, without pain. I kissed Artem's forehead and looked at Igor. He smiled, tired, but happy. We were a family where only love and trust were fit, and that was the best gift I could give to my son.